What's going on? It's Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. It is a Thursday morning. Got the Lapeef Let's Talk show tonight. In addition to that, got the Millionaire Morning show on in a few minutes, probably in like an hour. So I'm gonna get prepared for that. And then got a lot of business to take care of today. You know, the one thing that I can say is that there is no lack for opportunity and availability for those that are super duper busy. I'm looking out over the landscape. Somebody told me that over here, right here, that they're building a Whole Foods down there, right down there. Building a Whole Foods down there. Apparently a Trader Joe's is coming soon. I see a lot of food trucks over there. It's early in the morning, so you see the water, you see all of the views. I'm out here by the pool. Jim is right behind me also, so we chilling, we having a good time. The thing that I want to talk to y'all about this morning is affordability. And it seems as though a lot of people are being priced out of the housing market. And that's the surest way for me to evaluate whether or not things are becoming more or less affordable. You got inflation, and inflation is a really weird thing for a lot of people because it happens or it takes place without you really even being able to see it, but you feel it, right? You feel it when you go to the grocery store. You feel it when you go to the gas pump. You feel it when it comes to buying and purchasing goods and services, such as going to get a car, the interest rates on your credit cards, even when it comes to mortgaging and buying a home. And that's the biggest thing, is because when I jump on these sites in the morning and I'm seeing what the vibes is and I'm seeing what's happening in the financial industry, right? We're paying attention to tech earnings, so it's tech season right now. You got Facebook or Meta reporting earnings. Microsoft killed it. Meta stock is on a rise. You got all of these different companies, and then I start to lean into earnings and wages, right? Got the plane flying up above me. I don't know if y'all can see that. I don't know if y'all can see that at all, but it don't matter. You got wages, right? So I look at wages and I start to pay attention to wages of software engineers and people that work at these tech companies and executives and compensation and bonus structures and different companies trying to retain workers and things like that, right? And then I pivot, right? And I go all the way back to real estate, and I realize that as interest rates rise because they're trying to fight inflation, and you got people in the White House and people in these positions that don't really understand business. As these things happen, what I'll start to see is that there's becoming a larger gap between the haves and the have-nots. The middle is eroding faster than we ever seen it before. It is accelerating. There's a difference between the haves and the have-nots, and people that are comfortable, that can move around how they want to and make the decisions that they want to make, those people are going to be thriving. And the people that have to subject themselves to what everybody else is telling them to do, and then they cry about it on the internet and they whine about it, those are the ones that's falling behind. Now, unfortunately, there are some good people that just don't have the type of work ethic that me and you may have, right? There's some good people that just want to go home, chill with their family after they get off of work. They want to work their regular 9-to-5 job. They want to be able to take care. That has gone away. It's gone away in the same way that not requiring a 2-household income has gone. For the overwhelming majority of you, you cannot have that anymore, right? You are going to have to depend on her wages in order to be able to survive. A woman's inherent nature is to be a helpmate, to contribute in a lot of different ways, but not necessarily be required to go to work in order to make sure that the household is taken care of. That's all changed. Now, there is no norm. There's partnerships. There is no hierarchy in the household. How can you ask a woman to submit herself to you when she's probably making more money than you in order to bring resources into the household so that y'all can sustain your lifestyle? It's a completely different conversation that we have nowadays. But again, the clearest way for you to be able to see The divide between the haves and the have-nots is just paying attention to the home affordability rates, right? How much it's costing you to be able to buy a home. People cannot afford the homes that they are buying, and this is why it's so easy for them to be able to market to you for as long as they have this 30-year mortgage. I just read today that the amount on average that you have to have as a household in order to be able to afford a home nowadays is somewhere in the $76,000 range. Now, riddle me this. How does that make sense when the average household income in the United States of America is in the 60s? So that means that on average, you cannot afford a home, and the homes that people are in, considering that the prices and the values are going up, you can't even afford to stay in them. You can't afford to maintain them. You can't afford the property taxes. And that's why states, I even read that Ohio is moving towards removing income tax over the next 10 years from its citizens. But then guess what? All of that is redistributed, especially when it comes to property taxes, when it comes to interest rates, all of those different things. So they're trying to make it more attractive to come to the state, but at the same time, it doesn't solve the affordability issue. And the problem that we're facing is that people do not understand that in order for you to be able to survive, because let's be clear, it is a competition. It is a clear competition between the haves and the have-nots, between you and your neighbor, and between those that you work with. Make no mistake about it, right? You can be friends, y'all are cool, but when it comes to y'all being able to purchase goods and services, when it comes to you being able to purchase a home, it's them against you. And there is always going to be a clear divide between the haves and have-nots, and now it's just becoming more accelerated. What's going to happen in the future is going to become more pronounced. How that's going to affect people at large, well, people will protest. They'll ask Biden to forgive their student loans. They'll complain about it, but you know what's not going to happen? Rich people are not going to stop getting rich, and poor people are not going to stop getting poor. So the thing that you got to ask yourself is, what side of the fence do you want to be on? Because change is inevitable and you're not going to stop it. And just because you feel a certain type of way does not mean that people are going to act differently. Technology is going to ever evolve. People are going to continue to be more pronounced as far as them being successful. And there's going to be a difference between you and them. The question that you got to ask yourself is, which side of the fence do you want to be on? Do you want to be on the side that people that can choose to do what they want to do and they've bought their time back and now they're able to move accordingly? Or do you want to be on the side of the fence of the people that is subjected to the promises and the ills and the woes of whoever it is that's running for office at the time? It doesn't even matter who goes into office for me, because we're going to get it no matter what. But they can never try to tax you to death enough to solve for the problems. There's never going to be enough money. There's always going to be a deficit. There's always going to be change. Technology is going to continue to evolve. And the difference between you and the person that you're in competition with is whether or not you're going to be in the poorhouse or you're going to be on the other side of the fence and determine what happens. It's all up to you. I hope this gave you a little bit of insight. And in my mindset, hey, listen, I'm open to the possibility that I'm wrong, but I doubt it. I think that things are... Look at this. Just look at this right here. Look at this right here, right? You got all of these buildings. That one is new. When I first started moving down here and coming down here, they had just started building that. That's almost up. You see cranes everywhere, right? You can't afford to live here. You can't afford to live in the design district. Wynwood has changed so much. You got Midtown, unaffordable, only for you to visit, but then you got to go home, right? You got Brickell, downtown, none of that. None of that. Maybe you can go over and hang out in Little Haiti, though. You want to be required to stay where you have to stay, or you want to be required to do what you want to do when you want to do it? It's a difference. I love you. I appreciate you. I hope you take heed to the words that I'm saying, because the people that's going to suffer is you and your kids and your kids' kids. Real talk. I'm going to holler at you later. Peace.